Right, something a little bit different again. I've come out on this remarkably sunny afternoon. It's been raining for days and days and days. I've had a couple of days of respite, and I've decided to pop out, make a little video clip about this. Now, it's a little bit dried up. It's been in the house a few days. I collected this in Hereford a couple of weeks ago, so don't all rush to kiss me. It's mistletoe. I've taken the berries off it that were on it, and I'm going to try and get them to grow. Now, mistletoe is a very important plant in the European calendar. Everyone still kisses under the mistletoe, and that goes back to the time of early Britain, early Europe, Celtic speaking tribes. Any plant that was green in the winter defied the seasons, and it was revered by the pagans, Neolithic people, Iron Age, Bronze Age. And plants that remain green in the winter were somewhat sacred, and mistletoe was one of those plants. The ivy was another, holly, and they're all plants we associate today with Christmas. Of course, Christianity being what it is, it basically overlaid itself on pagan religions, and a lot of that paganism came through. It wasn't suppressed at all, and pretty much things like mistletoe, holly at Christmas, ivy, was adopted by Christianity, unwillingly at first, but it's part and parcel of everyday life now. So I've done some research on mistletoe. It's not a proper plant with roots, it's a parasite. It grows into the tree that hosts it, and it gets its sustenance from the tree. It doesn't damage the tree. It can weaken it a little bit. I'm getting over a cold as well. But parasites tend not to damage their hosts, otherwise it's self-defeating. Behind me is a wild apple tree. I'll just point this camera at the tree. This is it here, and if I zoom down there we go, you can see some apples still rotting on the ground. Anyway, a couple of years ago I had some mistletoe berries. I was a little bit naive about it, but a couple of years ago I had some mistletoe berries from Christmas. I came to this very tree, and I looked up online one possible way to germinate them. As I said, it was a bit naive. They take a lot longer to grow than I thought, although they do germinate quite quickly. However, I discovered just this morning that the traditional way of placing the seeds and these berries on the trees, the host tree, which they'll hopefully grow, it's been repeated over and over again by all sorts of people, including the likes of the Royal Horticultural Society, who you'd think were experts. But I discovered today that the way they describe to germinate mistletoe, and a lot of YouTube videos, they say exactly the same thing. They suggested that you nick the bark and shove the seed underneath that nick where it's trapped. It's out of the view of things that might eat the seed, birds, and it's less likely to be eaten by slugs and snails. The problem with that is some researcher discovered this morning condemns that outright. And although there's a squirrel on the tree over there, although the seeds will grow, the opportunity to germinate is much reduced putting the seeds under the bark. And that's what I did on this tree a couple of years ago. I did come back a year later and I saw nothing, and I've just inspected the tree again and there's no evidence of any mistletoe growing. The other thing I discovered was only about 1 in 10 seeds germinates. So the source I had this morning, squirrel getting agitated over there, having a dispute with another one. Yeah, the source of information I got this morning suggested you should plant 10 of these seeds close together on one branch, and then maybe 10 on another branch, just so one will germinate. The other thing is as well, they have male and females of these. Only the female plants have the berries, so it's hit and miss what you get when the thing does grow. They germinate quite fast, but apparently they're not really ripe until January, beginning of February. So seeds taken off Christmas mistletoe or before, and this was before, may not be very successful. So we'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 10 of these seeds under the lift bark method, which is being condemned, but everyone seems to like. And I'm also going to follow some advice I got this morning and literally just stick the seeds to the a branch and hope that predators don't find the seeds and eat them. They recommend putting them on the underside of a branch. So it reduces the visibility. This is another unusual thing about this plant. The seed photosynthesizes, so it needs light, and that's probably one reason why putting them under the bark doesn't help them to germinate too well. So you live and learn. But I collected this in Herefordshire a couple of weeks or so ago when I was investigating an old canal tunnel. The trees around there were festooned with this stuff. A lot of apple orchards there, and apple is the main host plant. But it will grow on poplar. All the tall poplar trees around Herefordshire, just caked in this stuff, big balls of it growing in the tops, where birds have quite literally wiped the sticky seeds on the twigs or crapped them out after they've eaten the berries, and it's stuck to the trees that way. So I'm going to try and emulate that. So they germinate quite quickly in about March, but they very, very slowly grow after that. So you might not see much greenery for a year, and then the following year it goes a bit more. By year 3, these leaves, as you can see here, they're in 2s. That bud will grow and they'll split, so that 2 will become 4. And you can see that sort of there. That's probably 1 year, that's another year. You can see the way they split all the way over. Each one represents a year. So that's 1 year, that's just that growth there, probably 2 years. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll see how we get on. I'll come back in March, April, see if there's any sign of life of the seeds that I've put on this tree. But also by then, I'll have gone back down to Herefordshire and I've brought a lot of ripe mistletoe seeds back. And I'll put them on other host trees like poplar, hawthorn, even lime I discovered this morning is a more successful tree than most. So it seems the top 3 trees anyway are apple, lime and poplars. So we'll press on. Right. These are my mistletoe seeds, and I think we've got about 30 there. I'll do that. You can see that. Now that there, you see it. It's I can get it there. See, it's very, very sticky, like a glue on it. Get rid of that. Yeah. You see, it's like it's almost like super glue, not as strong, of course. And that is meant to anchor the seed to the tree. And It's extremely sticky and glutinous. That's what causes the spread of mistletoe. Birds swallow the seeds whole, and then they'll pass them out the other end, and many of those seeds will just hit a branch and stick. They don't lose the stickiness. But if the berry breaks in the bird's mouth, then the bird wipes the glue off its beak and deposits the seed on the branch that way. So mistletoe is almost entirely spread by birds. You can see there that mistletoe seed I just showed in the previous clip. I've now attached that to the that branch of this apple tree. It's very sticky, it just stuck straight on. The tripod. Further again. A lot lower. There we go. Lost it for a minute then. So that's one seed. Two, three, four. I put 5 on that branch, the stickiest ones I've got. Some of them start to dry up a little bit, so I'll put them under the bark in a manner that I've always been led to believe, which apparently isn't the right way to do it. I'll choose a different branch for this. Do this one. They recommend branches about 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter. So that looks about right. On the methods which I've always been led to believe, which are now being informed is wrong, is what they used to do was cut a little notch in the branch like that, and then carefully draw a knife down, and you can see that, and then you carefully prise up the bark like that, lift it up, then you take your seed, squeeze that one out, place it under the bark in such a way as to trap it. And that doesn't look very secure to me. That's the way I've done it before. It's highly probable if the bark moves or the wind gets at it, that could even fall out. So I know on some advice previously I was given, you should wrap a bit of hessian around it to keep it in place. and that'll stop predators getting at it as well. But on this one here, it's still in shot now. Just lower this down a little bit. This junction here, I'll do that exactly the same, but in reverse. Peel that out and put a berry in there. I'll leave that trap that way. We can see what becomes of that. So I've peeled that out like that, and I've trapped the berry, the seed, behind that. And there's one a little bit above it, and that one. So I'll do a few more. I'll just lower that down. The focus right. Just about here, I think. I'm not expecting great things from these seeds, because if all the liches is right, then these won't be very fertile. So the last time I brought berries to this tree was a couple of years ago. I see no sign of anything. But they were berries off Christmas mistletoe. So if the liches is right, they probably weren't fertile. But on top of that, I only put a handful on this tree. They may very well have just died off anyway. So put those in there. Squash that. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll put 8 on this tree so far. So I'll carry on, and I'll use up the rest of the berries. I'll just put them all on this tree, and I'll leave it at that and see what happens. As I say, I'll get more in January, and I'll come back and I'll plant some of those on this tree as well, and some neighbouring trees, and I know some poplars, which I'll try and put them on those. And again, I can do a follow-up video in a year's time to see if any of them are sprouted. Bit more of a close-up of these wild apples. And there looks to be a bit of a dead sheep amongst them as well, so that should enhance the flavour. That's that tree done now. All we do is wait. So it's 1st of December today, 2018. So it's going to be a couple of 3 months, maybe 4, before I might expect any signs of life. So I'll come back and say mid-April and take it from there. But before that, I'll plant some more seeds, which I'll get in January. And I know another couple of apple trees around here, and I'll do some hawthorn as well, and some poplar, and should get some success rate out of that, even if it's only 1 out of 100. So until later in the winter.